CNN senior military analyst Admiral James Stavridis is a former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO and a partner of the Carlyle Group, an international investment firm, and he joins me now live from New York. Always good to see you. It's interesting, Admiral, that you call this confusion perhaps a positive and an opportunity for Ukraine. How so?
I think it crystallizes the need to support Ukraine. And so what happened? There was a pause at some point in the shipment of weapons, and suddenly you were hearing from voices across the political spectrum, to include on the right, Lindsey Graham, Senator Tom Cotton. On the left, basically all of the Democrats. You really saw a lot of people come to President Trump and say, we really can't pause this. And then it got reversed. So I think it, again, crystallizes the support for Ukraine. I certainly hope it does. These are desperate hours for Kyiv.
It was notable to hear from the former vice president this morning suggest a number of times that the isolationist part of the party and perhaps even of this administration is losing favor or losing voice with the president right now, perhaps, as he pointed out, because of the success in the operation in Iran between the United States and Israel. But also among those who were viewed as at times isolationist are his successor, Vice President Pence, as well. What do you make of that analysis by the former vice president?
Yeah, I think these are tumultuous times, and you're going to see a variety of views across the spectrum. I'll give you a positive, which is the NATO summit, which just occurred. As you know, Bianna, the president flew over, the NATO allies all pitched in and said, hey, we're going to up our defense spending to 5%. It was a very good moment for the alliance, and therefore a good moment for Ukraine. On the other hand, as former Vice President Pence correctly points out, there's still a lot of division between those in the Republican Party who want to kind of pull back from the world and those who believe that for our security, for our economic well-being, we need to lean into the world. My own sense is President Trump, as always, is listening to a variety of views. I take heart from the fact that he is beginning to talk about Vladimir Putin as the thug and the war criminal that he is. And that, I think, will continue to unlock the gates of significant aid to Ukraine.
And that is the exact sentiment that European leaders came out of the NATO summit, having had conversations with President Trump, too, saying that their takeaway was that the president was finally on the same page or getting closer to the same page as they were. The president has offered so many lifelines to President Trump, to President Putin, only to have him really thumb his nose at it and continue these attacks, increasing these attacks on Ukraine. The battlefield is becoming more and more of a stalemate at this point. The president is right, as you know, to send more defensive weapons. But what more can he be doing? I know the sanctions package is on the table. That is something that many Republicans and Democrats support. But even militarily, what could and should he be doing?
I just want to begin by drawing a line under the sanctions. Economically is where you can really hit Putin. So I think that is job one, to put those secondary sanctions in play. That will continue to degrade that Russian economy. Secondly, and again, this is an economic tool, there are $300 billion in Russian assets that are frozen in Western banks. That's a piggy bank that could be cracked open and those funds used to provide weapon systems to the Ukrainians or for the reconstruction of Ukraine. And then third and finally, Bianna, your excellent point, what are the weapon systems that could be most helpful? Number one on my list, Patriots. Number two, more Harpoon missiles. These are anti-ship cruise missiles that could reach out and touch the Russian Black Sea fleet. And I think HIMARS, which is a surface-to-surface military system that could reach behind enemy lines and crack the Russian supply lines. And then finally, turning our eyes to the skies, where much of this battle is being fought, the Ukrainians need more F-16s. You're showing one right there. And by the way, you know who is a former F-16 master fighter pilot? The current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Raisin Kane, a good friend. Let's hope he leans into this. Those are some of the systems, Bianna, that can be most helpful to the Ukrainians in this dire moment.
And we know Ukraine has spent a lot of time and resources investing in their own production of defensive weaponry, most notable the drones that they have successfully been using in this war. Very nimble, but also very effective tool for them. Admiral James Stavridis, always good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bianna.